Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings of peace, mercy, and blessings. Welcome to Science Amazing Adventure, where the search for the truth continues. Investigations, explorations, and discoveries. Are you ready for another learning opportunity? Hang on tight, for we will answer your questions on what, how, and why. Let us discover the beauty of the world together. For in the great minds of young scientists like you, learning never stops. Let me take you where your imaginations allow you to go. This is your science teacher, Teacher Aina, your guide in exploring and discovering the world of science. Come and join me in our short yet exciting science adventure. Young scientists, for today, we will be looking at the different materials in our environment. We will classify if they can be hammered or not. What do you mean by hammered? What material shall we use when we hammer other materials? What is a hammer? Today, we will discover the changes that could take place with solid materials when they are hammered. Get ready, young scientists! Prepare your PPS, pen, paper, and self-learning module. For these things will help you a lot in our discoveries. Do you know what object is this? This is a hammer. Can you describe the hammer? What is this hammer for? A hammer is a hand tool which usually consists of a metal head held on the end of a wooden handle. It is used for beating or striking or pounding materials. If solid materials are hammered, what do you think will happen to the materials? Today, we will explore different solid materials and describe what happens to these materials when they are hammered. Get ready, young scientists! Our science exploration today is fun, but with utmost caution. Let's go! Can you still remember what we had learned in the past week's lessons? Aha! To help us with that, we can always rely on our friend, Tech Machino. Where could he be? He may have not gone too far today. Can you help me find Tech Machino? Is he hiding behind the tree? Uh-oh, no. Could he be hiding behind the rock? Let's try one more time. Can you help me find Tech Machino? Behind me? Oh, there you are! What a great day to see you, dear friend! That's good to know! Will you help our young scientists remember what happened in last week's lesson? Great! Shall we? Some solid materials can be pressed depending on the property of the material. When pressed, these materials may change their size, shape, and texture. However, only the physical appearance changes. Last week, we had learned that some solid materials can be pressed depending on the property of the material. When pressed, these materials may change their size, shape, and texture. However, no new material is created. Only the physical appearance changes.
Can a banana be pressed? Yes, it can be pressed. Can a sponge be pressed? Yes, it can be pressed. Can a glass bottle be pressed? No, it cannot be pressed.
If you got all of the right answers, then you deserve your first star. Good job! In our environment, we are surrounded with matter. They may be in solid, liquid, or in gas form. Solid materials that we can see around us have their own characteristics, like having definite shapes and sizes. But let us also remember that these characteristics can be changed through many ways: by cutting, tearing, folding, twisting, bending, stretching, pressing, coloring, crumpling, and others. In today's lesson, you will learn more about matter by discovering another special property of materials. You will also learn how to classify materials based on whether they could be hammered or not.
A hammer is a hand tool which usually consists of a metal head held on the end of a wooden handle. It is used for beating, striking, or pounding materials. When do people usually use a hammer? Do people use a hammer in this activity? The answer is no. Do people use hammer in this activity? The answer is yes. Hammer is needed in pounding nails in order to put all the pieces of wood together and become one piece of furniture. Do people use hammer in this activity? The answer is yes. Carpenters use hammers in building houses.
In Science 4, we are ready to explore. So, make sure you are ready because it's activity time. Young scientists, this time we will explore different materials and classify whether they have the ability to be hammered or not. Prepare your pen and paper. For this activity, we will use these materials, namely
hammer, block of wood, empty tin can, piece of hollow block, sheet of galvanized iron. I will hammer the different materials using a hammer. Observe what happens to the materials after being hammered. Are you ready? Thumbs up if you're ready. Great! Our first material is block of wood. Observe what happens to this material when I hammer it. What changes occurred when the block of wood was hammered? The block of wood had been deformed. There was a change in size and shape. Was there a new material formed when the block of wood was hammered? No, there was no new material formed. Only the physical appearance of the block of wood has changed. Our second material is an empty can or lata. Observe what happens to this material when I hammer it. What changes occurred when the empty tin can was hammered? The empty tin can had been deformed. There was a change in size and shape. Was there a new material formed when the empty tin can was hammered? No, there was no new material formed. Only the physical appearance of the empty tin can has changed. Our third material is a piece of hollow block. Observe what happens to this material when I hammer it. What changes occurred when a piece of hollow block was hammered? The piece of hollow block had been broken and turned into pieces. There was a change in size and shape. Was there a new material formed when a piece of hollow block was hammered? No, there was no new material formed. Only the physical appearance of a piece of hollow blocks has changed. Our fourth material is a sheet of galvanized iron. Observe what happens to this material when I hammer it. What changes occurred when the sheet of galvanized iron was hammered? The sheet of galvanized iron had been deformed. There was a change in size and shape. Was there a new material formed when the sheet of galvanized iron was hammered? No, there was no new material formed. Only the physical appearance of the sheet of galvanized iron has changed.
If you had carefully observed the changes to the materials and have got the same observations, it's time for you to add your second star. There are materials in our environment which can be made thinner through hammering. A tin can and the sheet of galvanized iron are examples of that. They are made of metal and have been hammered into thin sheets. This means that some metals are malleable. This property is called malleability. You may have also observed at home that other materials which are around you are made of metal. Have you ever checked what's inside the electric wire? The material wrapped inside an insulator or a rubber coating is copper. When bent and hammered into thin wires, they will change in size and shape only. But there's no new material formed. Ductility is associated with the ability of the materials to be hammered into thin sheets or stretched into wire without breaking. A ductile substance can be drawn into a wire. Other examples of ductile materials include gold, silver, and copper. Carpenters and other construction workers make use of hammer in driving nails, beating metals, fixing and repairing objects or materials, and others. If you were a carpenter or construction worker, in what way can you protect your fingers from being hammered? When using a hammer, we need to be careful so we won't end up hurting ourselves. Carpenters and construction workers use safety gloves to protect their fingers from being hit by a hammer.
With some of the few materials in our household, determine what changes will happen to each of the material when it is hammered. Number 1. Hammering a metal roof. Letter A. The roof changes its color. Letter B. The roof changed in smell. Letter C. The roof changes its size or shape. The answer is C. The roof changes its size or shape. Number 2. Hammering a coin. Letter A. The coin changes its size or shape. Letter B. The coin changes its color. Letter C. The coin changes in smell. The answer is A. The coin changes its size or shape. Number 3. Hammering a copper wire. Letter A. The copper wire changes its color. Letter B. The copper wire changes its size or shape. Letter C. The copper wire changes its smell. The answer is B. The copper wire changes its size or shape.
If you got all the correct answers, you deserve your third and last star. Good job! A hammer is a hand tool which usually consists of a metal head held on the end of a wooden handle. It is used for beating, striking, or pounding materials. Some solid materials can be hammered depending on their composition. When hammered, these materials may change in size, shape, and even in texture. However, no new material is formed because only the physical appearance of the material is changed. There are materials in our environment which can be hammered into thin sheets. This means that metals are malleable or can be hammered into thin sheets. This property is called malleability. Ductility is associated with the ability of the materials to be hammered into thin or stretched into wire without breaking. A ductile substance can be drawn into a wire. That's all for today's Science Amazing Adventure. I hope we had answered your what, why, and how questions. Follow your imagination wherever it allows you to go. Once again, this is your science teacher, Teacher Aina. Remember, science is full of discoveries. Continue to search for the truth. Watch out for more changes of solid materials in the next episode. Only here on DepEd TV. Don't forget to follow our official DepEd TV YouTube channel and Facebook page so you can watch your lessons anytime, anywhere. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Wassalam!